important because it's very important that black folks understand this so you don't be sending them to doctors thinking they crazy because they said something that upset your ignorance. My mama told me that Santa Claus was a white boy and she was buying the toys. Okay, that's what raised me. Okay, so somewhere when y'all sit around and think all this so crazy stuff and this and that, and then this young group comes. Okay, the Lord's Prayer, Our Father. Well, wait a minute. Who told you God was a man? Now here's this force that made the moon, the sun, the stars, every fly, every bug. He made everything that's invisible. Okay? Germs and everything. He never told us that, so did he yell down here and say, I made men? Let me tell you something. Long before there was men, there wasn't nothing on this planet but women. And one day when y'all have some time, look up the Hermaphrphdite gods, okay? Male and female. You see it in the Bible where it talk about he here, male and female. But y'all listen to what this white boy done changed, and you don't know nothing. I'm going to say this again. Men wasn't needed to create another God. So anyway, I'm in the car, and my wife is sitting in front of me in the front seat. My daughter is driving. Her son is sitting next to me in the back seat. So he said, Granddad, you hear that train? And so I know he's an Indian. They don't know. And I said, I don't know. I thought I heard something. And he said, Granddad, it's about 170 miles from here. And somebody ought to stop him. He's doing 50 miles over the speed limit. You hear what I'm saying? Huh? And so I said, and so we did. And so now, he said, it'll be passing here. About an hour later, here comes this train. Okay? And I told my daughter, pull over. And let's go to this restaurant over here. And I get there. And I tell them, do not mess with him no more. Okay? Y'all do y'all deal with me. Okay? All right? Do not mess with him no more. You heard what he said. Huh? You heard it and you saw the train pass. That's who they are, Paul. And I don't know how we got into this, but black folks need to hear this. They look like they've been here before. They'll say things that don't mean nothing to you. Okay? But I just thank you. I had no idea we would even talk about. And one day we'll talk, Paul, and I'll have you talk to my youngest son, Johansson, and let him talk to his son who opened up this company when he's 5 years old. He's doing like $31,000 a week now. Okay? All right? And he gives it away. And when you hear him talk and talk about things, and finally before we go, they have family reunions on my wife's side. And so his daddy, put everything together on our side. So let me tell you, man, I was married to this guy for 56 years. And I didn't know what I'm fixing to tell you, and she didn't either. I just knew her daddy was a preacher in a little town called Willard, Ohio. I knew that. And he had the biggest church there. And they didn't want for nothing. Huh? And all at once, my son Johansson going into Cleveland to the family union. He go in and says, well, now, let me show you who this family is. And he said, first, Lily, which is his mother, my wife. She and my dad been married 56 years. She said, and her father, he went to Tuskegee. I never knew that. Finished Tuskegee, okay? Then he went to theology school. I never knew none of that. He never told me. And then the railroad comes through. Baltimore, Ohio. That was the new thing. The Baltimore and Ohio being open. And the black folks was gambling and cussing and shooting and fighting. Had some money for themselves. So the owner of the railroad, billionaire, came to town and said, I mean, they used to call Little Chicago. He came to town and he met with Leo's father and said, here's what we need to do, and it's going to affect my family. The town Willard is named after the owner of the V&O. Okay. He picked him and said, here's what we want to do. I'd like to build you a church, and I'd like to send you over around the state and give you the money to build churches. Do you hear what I'm just saying? Okay? Now, my son dug all that up and put it together. Okay? And so now, when you stop and think about it, things that they can't do that need you, not to listen to nothing, they just move and do it. And so again, I just said to thank you, Paul, that this can get on the show so black folks can hear, not from a black man. When you Google it, it comes from a white person, and a whole lot of you will believe it then, okay? And so that the young lady, and those was talking a little while ago, if you do anything properly to go see that, and just listen to them. So now we go back to New York. We were talking about Marcus Garvey and Queen Mother Moore. Now, one of the sad things, a person that I trusted so much was, I let him take my children to Africa. Y'all think I've been black all along? Let me tell you, one of them was 7, another one was 5. They told me, we don't want to go to Africa, they'll eat us. Oh, God, Jesus. You believe that's come out of my child? Did you hear what I just said? Did you
yeah. So, that's not surprising, though, back then, but go ahead.
No, it surprised me. So here's how I dealt with it. I said, well, that's no problem if you don't go to Africa, you can't go to Disneyland. Huh? And so they went to Africa only so they could go to Disneyland. After they came back from Africa, they never wanted to go to Disneyland again. You hear me? Now, the brothers that put this together, when I told him the story I'm fixing to tell y'all, well, man, he couldn't believe it. I mean, what's wrong with you Negroes? Because somebody you like, somebody you trust with a bunch of crap, and then when you find it out, you get so upset. Well, what you think about me? See, thank God, the black folks that I come up with in Chicago when I wanted to be a comic, they came and listened to me when I wasn't funny. When they got through this with me, I was so funny. And I don't have to be validated by the top 100 funny comics. And at one time, I was the number 1 comic alive on the planet. Okay? I don't have to be validated by no white folks and no black folks. And so all it was, they pushed me downtown where it cost so much they couldn't even afford to come see me. That's why I'm listed in the phone book. That's why I don't have no bodyguard. That's why I give my money to the movement. We talk about the 3 civil rights.
Greg, let me interrupt and ask you this then. Because you were the top comic, at the top of your game, and you left it all for the movement. How can you reconcile that? How do you tell your family?
Let me tell you how you're right. I'm sorry. Here's how I reconcile.
Okay.
I was in the military, right? I wasn't married. There wasn't no war going on, right? And I didn't have no children. But had I been married and had some children when I was in the military, it was racist. The white racist, Negro-hating cracker who was the captain that told us what to do. And had there been a war going on, and this ignorant, nasty white boy said, take that heel, I would have ran like the heel. Now, can I do that for black folks? Huh? If I'm going to do this for a redneck, Negro-hating white boy that wouldn't give me the time of the day, am I willing to do it for black folks? Okay? That's simple. That's how I figured it out. And when I got married to Leo, I said, look, baby, I won't be home much because liberation is not in our house. And liberation come before these children. you black folks can say anything you, I don't give a damn about what you think about me. Let me tell you, I know what I've done for white folks. Ungrateful, all the craziness. Am I willing to do it for you? Huh? Oh, we'll talk about, well, I don't want to join the movement. How many of you black folks this summer, before it's over, going to take your children to Disneyland to see a rat that have never carried him to King's grave or King's tomb? And had he not died, you wouldn't be welcome in Atlanta. Okay?
Greg, we're coming up on a break, but let me ask you this. If you had, knowing what you know about what you went through with the movement, how much money you left on the table, and if you had the chance to do it again, would you do it all? Would you do it again?
Twice.
Same one?
I do it at a younger age. And when you come back off the break, I tell you why. I'll tell you something that happened to me here. Okay?
All right. 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450. Had movie stars and athletes and all that. But they didn't cross over. Dick Gregory crossed over, and for a comic, that's incredible. Because usually jokes, white folks don't get black jokes, and black folks don't get white jokes, and some of these comics, they use the racial thing as a stick, to get laughs. But Greg managed to somehow to entertain both sides equally, and was making big bucks. And Dr. King called, and he pushed it aside. So Greg, tell the question I asked you, why? And if you do it again?
It didn't happen like that. Let me tell you. When I came through, a Negro comic couldn't work a white nightclub. Okay, that was a secret law. Like they got secret laws now. That's not on paper. Okay, you couldn't work a white nightclub. You could sing, you could dance, but you couldn't stand flat-footed and tell and talk to white folks. But then they would know how smart you was. Not Henry Ford, not the Rockefellers. An ordinary white person go to nightclubs to be entertained would hear you, and all that craziness would leave. That's what that was about, okay? I didn't know. I didn't want to be no entertainer. I'd never been an athlete or nothing like that. I set the world record in the high school mile, but I didn't go out, entertainers or athletes in my life. So what happened is, I made more money than Frank Sinatra at one time. Okay? And I gave mine away because it's just folks. And it's different if you come up, if your child wants to be in radio, he heard you. I didn't hear nobody. Huh? Nobody. Okay? And
So what made you think you could do it?
I didn't, man. I was the life of the party. People used to eat, huh? Skinny, didn't know where my daddy was. And then a friend of mine said to me, man, you know what? Say, the stuff they be saying about you is funny. If you can remove yourself from you, listen now. And so then I realized that I could go to school and talk about you before you talked about me, and I would get the crowd. And I got so funny, they called me Swiftmouth, man. And the gangs, the juvenile gangs, wasn't in school, carried guns and knives. They see me coming, they cross over on the other side of the street. That's what I was doing. I didn't talk about being no kind. Listen, call. The funniest laugh you ever heard in your life didn't come from a professional comedian. It came from friends or relatives, okay? The part of being a comedian is a thing called timing. So one Negro was brought in by Hugh Hefner and changed the whole world. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You look at Will Smith, had it not been for Hefner and this black guy, it wouldn't have been a Will Smith, okay? He has made over $9 trillion for the industry, huh? All at once because of that black folks. Only place we had to go and do some little stuff was in the church place. Then all at once you got producers, huh? You got writers, you got everything now. because of one man, and this nasty country don't tell you nothing about him or me. I couldn't care less. Okay? Okay? I could not care less. Hefner turned the whole thing. When you look at all the stuff that came out of one man saying to another man, okay, hey, come on in, I'm going to bring you in. Okay? And he didn't give me no instructions. Didn't give me no instructions at all. Okay? So what happened is, that's, to get back to what you said, my loyalty to black folks, man. Now, I'm telling you, I can stand on the stage right now and talk for 12 hours. You know why? Because back then, black folks didn't have no money, so they could come to the nightclub and get in free, and a bottle of beer cost 35 cents, and they could sit for 3 shows. I didn't feel like doing the same show again, so I developed where I could stand there, and I could stand right now and talk for 5 hours without taking a drink of water. Okay, I didn't know where I was going, so now let me get back to when the 3 civil rights workers was killed in Mississippi. I was in Russia, me and a white researcher, art historian, and we went over there because the largest, most powerful university in the world is the University of Moscow, but black folk can't go. Now the Chinese was taking black folks from Africa, bringing them to China, on the way back home. Someone would take a path going through Russia, and the Russians started recruiting them. But they built the school, the University of Lumumba, for them, okay? And this one black African was dating a white girl, and they found him froze to death. Well, somebody called a friend of mine and told me, so I said, okay, let's go over. Let's go. I don't have to call nobody to get no money. And if I needed something, I could make 20 phone calls. I had one of the richest white boys in New York City, you know, Joe Glacier. Powerful company he had with entertainment. And when I hit it big and I came to New York, and he said to me, he said, go out there and break a leg. And I said, tell your mama to break a leg. Now, why did I say that? There's no way you can tell me to break a leg and I can make something good out of that. Did you hear what I just said? Break a leg, there's no way you can fix that. So then I started, let me see where this came from. Then when we started looking at it, it came out of Budapest. When Budapest was the center of gravity, the hottest entertainment on planet Earth was ballerina. So if your daughter was a ballerina and my daughter was an understudy, the only way my daughter could get her job is she break her legs, huh? So y'all better be careful why y'all walk around saying something just because white folks said it. And so now I go to Russia, me and my man, and we're going to demonstrate in Moscow Square about the racism. America don't talk about racism because we as racist as they are. France don't talk about racism, huh? And so we go over there and I meet with a guy from the either AP or the UP. And I said, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to give you the exclusive on it, but I need you to make me some signs. And so we had the signs made, and the guy came back in the morning, and we was going to Red Square and protest. Okay? Now, the guy told me, he said, an awful thing just happened in Mississippi. The 3 whites, 2 whites and 1 black civil rights worker is missing. Now, how I look over there in Russia, Red Square, protesting how they treat these blacks, and this story is breaking. So we canceled it. I told Art I could get on the phone and get us a charter plane in here. I rented a plane from Moscow all the way to New York. We got off the plane, and with the time difference at 8 o'clock that night, we were in Mississippi, and I was talking to Sheriff Raymond. And I said, let me tell you something, you cracker, you You going to jail for this, okay? I know you did. I don't look at it, I don't the way you smell, I know you did. And then I called Buckner. And I said, man, would you call my wife and slide $25,000 into the bank, and then she'll get it back to you tomorrow evening. So he did that. I held a press conference. I want you to hear this good. And I put up $25,000 reward. Now, when you folks mess up when you put up a reward, if I ain't got no money, and you put up $100,000 reward, but I can't get it till the trial is over, no. You need to put up $10,000 for information that can lead, and then $100,000. You'd be surprised how many people gonna come out and tell you information of things they saw when they know they could have a chance of getting it enough. So I put up $25,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of information leading to what happened. Now I didn't know at that time. Months gonna pass and nobody could find it. Okay? So here's what I didn't know. Up until that day, when I put the 25, the FBI in their history had never put up reward money. Did you hear what I just said, Cole?
Yep.
Because of the 25,000, the FBI put up $30,000 reward. First time. Well, the white folks that wanted to get the money, not only did they give the information to the FBI, they also gave it to me. FBI didn't know they gave it to me. So I'm waiting for the FBI because that's their job. I don't want to get involved with no murder. And nothing happened, and nothing happened, and nothing happened. And then one day, I'm on my way to Hawaii, and I hold a press conference. And I said to President Johnson, President Johnson, here's what we got. If those bodies is not found by 12 o'clock noon tomorrow, I'm going to come back to America and go down there with 10 people with shovels and go under the viaduct and dig them up. And when I said that, they knew I knew where they were. And that night, the news broke. They found them. That's what I get out of it. Now, before we move from this here, let me tell you. My play, Joe Morton, called Turn Me Loose.
Right.
The biggest thing on off-Broadway. Now, if you don't understand Broadway, or why should you? If you don't understand Broadway, New York is the #1 business center in the world. And so you got a company called, and you bringing people in from all over the world that you have to, sell your product to around the world. That's why you can have a bad football team or bad basketball team, and you can fill the arena because 80% of those tickets is bought by 10 conglomerates that make their living on selling these tickets to companies so you can give them, and they come there free. The restaurants is free and everything. So that's how it works, right? So they said, well, look, we'd like to take you to Broadway. I said, hey, okay, here's the law. Here's the law. Here's what we'll do. You all write it. I'm not a writer. I know nothing about writing plays or nothing. So I'm going to give you a carte blanche. Give you a carte blanche. You write it.
All right, Greg, hang on a second. We've got to take a quick break here. We want to hear about the play that's now on Off-Broadway in New York. 800-450-7876. Terry in Columbus also wants to speak to you. Taking calls for Dick Gregory next on 1450.